I got a fairly interesting video. Here I have a PS3 Slim. This one's one of the easier ones to jailbreak. I got this over on my local Free Geek for 30 bucks. Give me a second. As you can see on the little sticker here, the reason why it's labeled as broken is, well, the top case has been heavily damaged. Somehow, whoever took this apart originally, I'm guessing the original owner, somehow managed to literally rip off half the top shell, and somehow also remove the little felt piece right here for the top, and the fan's not there anymore. Reason being, someone, again more than likely the original owner, ripped out the fan header on the motherboard. So that's why I got this thing for $30. It does luckily still work, but it's in desperate need of help. But like I said, it does turn on. Now, as you can see, I also jailbroke it. The reason why I jailbroke it originally was to monitor the temperatures. So give me a second. I want this. There it goes. Now I am using an 8 gig drive from my local Free Geek, so it's a tad slower than it normally would be. So if I press and hold, select and start, give me a second, let me back out. Now as you can see, I have the temperature monitor right there. And with the idling, it actually seems to be doing completely fine, surprisingly enough. So what I'll do is I'll just let it idle. Okay, yeah, the temperature is rising. But I'll just let it idle for a little while and we'll see how hot it gets. If it gets to once it gets to 60 or so, then I'm going to actually kick on the fan. But I just want to first show that it does technically work without the fan, but it takes a while to heat up like normal. But with that said, I'll come back in a little bit. Alright, I'm going to plug in my fan now because as you can see, the CPU is at 40. Oh, now it's at 50C. I don't know how hot that is, but I know it's too hot for this thing to run functionally. So this is the setup I got for right now. Now, is it optimal? No. But it surprisingly works. I don't know why I decided to stop doing that, but whatever. But as you can see, the temperature is slowly going down. If the monitor actually starts functioning again or starts displaying properly again. Again, this PS3 is a little janky. So as you can see, it is going down. So I'll just let it idle for a bit. And just like that, the temperatures are back down to normal. If anything, they're probably a little bit better than what the stock fan will produce. But then again, it's a 120mm fan spinning at full blast. Now, I do have an original PS2 Slim fan, or PS3 Slim fan. Give me a second. And here's that fan I was talking about. Now, like I said before, the original owner, or maybe someone over at Free Geek, I'm not going to say it was someone over at Free Geek because that's how it was when I got to it. But I'm pretty certain the original owner had to replace the fan in his, and somehow he ripped off the fan header, like I said. So my plan is to eventually solder this onto the motherboard itself. I did see a few images online showing how to do that, and I think I can do it myself. But for right now, I'm going to use this 120mm fan. Is it optimal? No. But are temperatures maintaining themselves? Most definitely. Now, of course, that's with it idling at the home screen. Let me actually load up a game. I got GTA 5, and GTA 5 is one of the more demanding games for a PS3 to run. I do not have Last Failure of Us. I don't care for Last Failure of Us. I'm not going to use it for testing because that game is boring. Go get a golf club to the face. Oh yeah, and surprisingly enough, the Blu-ray drive actually still works. which I'm very impressed with. The Blu-ray drive on my PS3 Fat I handed over to Free Geek was actually faulty. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And of course, if I go to here, you can see that GTA 5 works. So I guess the next thing I'm going to do is get GTA 5 all up to date, and then I'm going to actually run it after I reconnect it to my internet. Because I completely forgot that I had this connected to Free Geek Network instead of my personal, because again, I just got home with this thing and I completely forgot to swap over networks. I might need to restart the console because it might be soft locked. Oh wait, nope, there it goes. Alright, so I got an Ash and Wind event going on in Sea of Thieves, and I like this particular challenge. It takes me about 15 to 30 minutes depending on how many times I die and how good the server ping is. So with that said, I had to unfortunately restart the PS3. I think I had it idling on the home screen with this overlay going for too long. I don't know why I wouldn't let the game boot properly, but whatever. So I restarted it, re-enabled PS3 in. As you can see, it got the overlay. And as you can see, the temperatures are definitely a little more higher than they were when I was installing updates. But as time goes on, we'll just see as temperatures stabilize. So I'm fairly certain the temperatures are stabilized. So I'll come back when I get done with the Ash and Wind events right here. Well, that was complete and utter cancer. I managed to survive all 3 waves for the first time. And then when I go to actually sell all my crap, a stupid scaly ship just has to come in and be fucking annoying. That took forever to kill. But with that said, it's been running now for nearly an hour and a half. Now, as you can see, the temperatures are fairly stable. And of course, that's with a 120mm fan right here for cooling. So, again, this particular method does work. And it does maintain the temperatures. But like I said before, I do want to get a proper fan in this thing so I can actually use it like a normal PS3 instead of having this loud, noisy thing right here. So, with that said, I'm actually going to shut it down for the night. And tomorrow I'm going to try to fully take this thing apart, clean it, reapply thermal paste, and see if there's any way I can actually fix the cooling fan solution. I think there is, but I'll have to wait and see. Alright, it's the next day. Alex uploaded an assault video, and I'm working on my PS3. I can definitely say for certain that this is a smoker's PS3. I did finally remove this little piece right here. It was just held on by a few screws. How the original owner missed those is beyond me. But yeah, this thing's in pretty nasty shape. So I'm definitely going to be cleaning this thing out. Hopefully I have enough thermal paste for if I am forced to remove the motherboard from the actual chassis and whatnot. But I think there might be a way to where I can actually remove the motherboard while still being able to work on the fan and whatnot. Speaking of, here's the actual fan header port. As you can see, basically all the pads are ripped. But it looks like I might be able to just scrape some of that off and physically solder onto that. But I am going to take a look at the underside of the board and see if I find anything there. But yeah, this thing is in desperate need of cleaning. I have no idea how the guy managed to do the damage he did. Now when it comes to this little gasket here, I'm probably just going to completely tear it off. I want to try and find a replacement gasket on eBay or something, but I doubt I can. Yeah, this console is definitely nasty. I have no idea how people get these things this nasty, but I think this is WD-40 or something? This thing is all sorts of nasty. I'm legit surprised it still functions. But, yeah. So, I'll just clean everything off on camera and come back. Alright, I managed to pull off the bottom shielding. There's the fan header pins right there. Hopefully I can figure out which one is which, but considering the way it's a 3-pin, I'm pretty certain one is ground, I believe it's the middle. And one of the other two is going to be a 12-volt rail, and the other one's going to be the, I guess, sense rail. So once I figure out which is which, and then do a little cutty on this, that way so I can actually feed the wire and whatnot, I should be able to put this thing back together and see if it functions. I do have the bottom chassis or little bottom plastic piece in the sink in some hot water because that's nasty. Alright, luckily someone had the image of my particular motherboard up and I figured out was what. So I wired it all up as needed. This is data, this is ground, and this is 12 volts. And I have a little cutout right here on the metal shield. It is a little sharp, but again, you're not really meant to open this thing up in the first place. So I'm just going to leave it like that. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a small little housing thing for my hard drive because this one didn't come with the original hard drive caddy, and I got some jumbo popsicle sticks or just popsicle sticks in general, and I'll make something for that. And then once I get that done, then I'll put everything together in a state to where I can actually test this thing to make sure it still functions, and then I'll go and put it back together and yeah. Alrighty, I got the fan installed. Everything is working. And I luckily still have a working Blu-ray drive too, which I'm very happy with. So next step for me to do is just put this thing back together and run it for a bit. Alright, since I don't have a proper shell for the thing, I'm going to use the top shell I have from my original PS3 Slim. I am more than likely going to order a new one off eBay, well, used one off eBay. But for right now, I still want to at least get something so this thing's all nice and covered up. Alright, let me plug in my controller. Alright, first thing to do is to enable my homebrew. Alright, the fan kicked in, so we're good there, which means the way I wired everything up is working. So I should be able to do this. Press and hold start and select. Alright. And then I should be able to load up GTA 5 and see what the temperatures are like. Well, one thing's for certain, the 120mm fan blasting at 100% was keeping this thing significantly more cooler than the actual fan meant for the console. But with that said, that is more than likely fixed with a reapply of thermal paste and maybe a slight bump in the fan speed to maybe 45% or maybe 50 if it's not too noisy. But with that said, I'll just let it idle for a while and we'll see what the temperatures go to and see if the fan speed kicks up. I'm certain the fan speed will in fact kick up, but we'll just see what happens. And before you ask why I didn't do a reapply of thermal paste, well, this is why. I'm basically out of my Noctua paste. I don't even have enough to cover one of the heat IHSs on the PS3. So it wouldn't even be worth it. Alright, so the temperatures are definitely climbing quite a bit. I expect as much when it comes to the PS3. They do run hot, unfortunately. But I'm pretty sure reapplying thermal paste will more than likely resolve this issue. Luckily, since I have a Slim, I don't actually have to do a delay like I did with the Fat. So I'm just going to call the video here, and I'll probably upload another video when I get a new shell for this thing and redo the thermal paste and whatnot. I'm thinking that'll be sometime next week.